AT 1033 Review Test 3. We're starting at problem 9. To factor completely, there is no GCF. This is not a perfect square trinomial. So we're going to go to trial and error. So we will do two sets of parentheses. We should do our signs. Ending in negative says do different signs. For this one, for the 5, there's only one choice, 5 and 1. It's nice when you have a prime there, and we'll split the p's. For 18, we can try 1 times 18, 2 times 9, 3 times 6, 6 times 3, 9 times 2, and 18 times 1. So there's our choices, and we just start through the list. Then we have to check outside and inside. And 18 times 5, this is going to be way too big. It's not going to get me to 27, so I'm not even going to do that one. So I'll go to the next one. 2 and 9. Outside minus 45p. Inside plus 2p. Gives minus 43p. Still not there, but closer. So go to the next choice. And 3 and 6. Outside we have a minus 30p. Inside plus 3p gives a minus 27p. And this one works, and it is the correct sign. So our answer is 5p plus 3p minus 6. For problem 10, the first thing you're going to do is take out a GCF. There is a v in every term. Also, we will take out the negative. Anytime you start off with a negative, it's good to factor that out as a GCF. So we're going to take a negative 1, so just a negative, and a v as a GCF. Remember, GCF is one set of parentheses. To get back there, we're missing a v squared. Minus 13v because we took the negative outside. And this will be a plus 36. Double check. So that would be minus v cubed plus 13v squared minus 36v. So we're okay so far. Your GCF is just going to come down. And your trinomial might do more. This is one of the nice trinomials with a leading coefficient of 1. So we can actually see how it works without doing trial and error. Do your signs. Ending in plus says do like signs, sign of the middle term. So these will both be minus. Split your v's. You're going to multiply to give 36 and add with like signs to give 13. How about 9 times 4? And that is going to work. Minus 4v minus 9v will give minus 13v. So make sure you include this minus v at the beginning, though, with your answer. Our next problem is also a trinomial, and it has a GCF. So we can take out a b. That will leave one set of parentheses. It will leave us a b squared minus 5b. Plus 6. This b comes down, and you see if your trinomial will do more. So it will go into two sets of parentheses for your signs. Ending in plus says do like signs. Look back, both minus. Split the b's, and you're multiplying to get 6. So your choices are 6 and 1 and 3 and 2. You have to be a little careful here. You could get 5 both ways. Like signs add. So you need the 3 and 2 to give your 5. And this is your answer. Include your B. Problem 12, we have two terms, but we are going to be able to do a GCF on this one first. I am going to choose a negative GCF since it starts with a negative. And we can take an m. That will leave us m squared. And we took a negative out, so that is going to leave us a negative 36. When you look at your parentheses to see if it will do more, this is going to give you a difference of squares. So our negative m on the outside comes down. Difference of squares will give you two sets of parentheses. Remember, one with plus, one with minus. Split your m's, and it will be the square root, 6 times 6. For problem 13, we are also going to do a GCF. Your clue is these are all even, so you can take out a factor of 2. So we'll take a 2 to the outside, one set of parentheses. That will leave us x squared plus 14x, just divide, and then 2 into 96. We'll go 48 times. Now we'll bring our 2 down, and we're working on a trinomial here. So 2 sets of parentheses. Do your signs. Ending in plus says like signs. Look back. They will both be plus. Split the x squared into x and x. For 48, your choices are 1 times 48, 2 times 24, 3 times 16. I'm just dividing numbers into 48 going up. 4 times 12, 5 doesn't work, and 6 times 8. You don't have to do both orders because it starts off with a 1. So we want to add with like signs to get a 14. It will be 6 and 8. And it wouldn't matter which parentheses comes first. You can double check. 8x plus 6x gives you 14x. For problem 14, we have an equation. Notice the equal sign. So we're going to solve. The other problems were just factor. This one is solved with an equals. When it has an exponent of 2, you have a quadratic equation. And so it's different from isolate the variable. They tell us to solve by factoring, so we're going to factor and use the zero product law. You have to make sure you have a 0. We do. You need to factor the other side. So we have a trinomial. That will give us 2 sets of parentheses. We'll split the x's. For our signs, we'll have different signs. And we're multiplying to get a 7. It has to be a 7 and 1. And we're going to subtract to get a 6. We want a minus 6, so go ahead and put your minus with your larger number. Double check. Minus 7 plus 1 gives minus 6. So we're set there. And now you're in your proper form. You have your A times B equals 0. So you break it apart. Either your first set is equal to 0 or your second. But now you have a linear equation. So you just isolate your variable, subtract your 1. So x equals negative 1. And on the other, you can add your 7 to both sides, and x will equal 7. A lot of times with quadratic equations, we will put our solutions because there's more than one in solution set symbols. For problem 15, we again have a quadratic equation. We're going to solve by factoring. This one is not a very pretty problem because it's one of those trinomials that you have to go with trial and error. But we'll go ahead and set up, do our parentheses, different signs, and our choices are going to be 35 and 1 and 5 and 7. I'm going to try the 5 and 7 there. I think that 35 and 1 is going to be too much. Right, and then I have for 12. So I have 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4, and I have to flip them all over. Right, so I start off, first I would have 1 and 12. That is going to be pretty big because 12 times 5 is 60. I'm going to skip that one. So I'll try 2 and 6. I'll check. So minus 30 in, plus 14 in. That is not getting me to 1. So I'll say no. Go on to the next one. And I'm going to try 3 and 4. So I have a minus 20 in plus 21 in is giving me positive 1 in. Almost works. You're getting the in, you just have the wrong sign. Switch your signs. So my one that was plus should have been the minus, and the one that's minus should have been plus, and it will work. So I am going to erase this. I'll just write here on the side what I want to make sure to keep. 5n minus 3 and 7n plus 4. I'm going to erase. So now we have this problem factored. It is in our proper form for zero product law. We have a times b equals 0. So we'll set each piece equal to 0 and solve. 5n minus 3 equals 0, or 7n plus 4 equals 0. On the first one, add your 3 to both sides. So 5n equals 3. Divide by 5. So n is 3/5. On the second one, subtract your 4, sorry. So you have 7n equals -4. Divide by 7. So n equals -4/7. If we put those in solution set symbols, normally you go smallest to largest. So -4/7 and 3/5. For problem 16, we do have an equation. It is a quadratic equation. It is not in standard form. So we need to go to standard form, which means get your 29x off of this side and put it back in descending order. So we have 5x squared. We're going to add a 29x plus 20 equals 0. Now we are in standard form. We have a 0. We'll have to factor on the left. We're going to do like signs, both plus. We're going to have to go with 5 and 1. That's good. 20. We have a few choices. We can try 1 times 20, 2 times 10, 4 times 5, and then you have to flip them over. Our first one, 1 times 20. I'm going to skip that one because 20 times 5 is 100. That's not going to get me to 29. We'll try 2 and 10. And on our check, this is 50 plus 2, 52. That's too big. So let's go on to the next one. So our 5x and 4 and 5. When we check, we have 25x plus 4x gives our 29x. So this is the right choice for factoring. Now we are in the proper form. There's our a, there's our b, there's our 0. So either 5x plus 4 equals 0, or x plus 5 equals 0. To solve on your first one, subtract your 4. So you have 5x equals -4, divide by 5. So you get x equals -4/5. On the second one, subtract your 5. So x equals -5. So we have -5 and -4/5 for our solutions. I want to come back on this screen for just a second. This should have been a 5x squared. I had 5x all through there, but it should have been 5x squared. I just made a copying error.